we have received tremendous support from the energy sector fraternity. We have received a lot of sponsorships, and as of this morning, we have received a total of 30 million Kenya shillings to support this conference. The perennial problem we have faced in the electricity subsector, for instance, has been chronic shortage of power. We are not generating sufficient electricity to meet the country's needs. That is why we've been implementing load shedding. That's why there's low quality of power in various parts of the country. So that even as we're implementing our dream of universal electricity connectivity in this country, and by the year 2030, when we expect at least all the Kenyans, minimum 98% of Kenyans, to be connected to one form of electricity or another. That dream is facing major obstacles because you cannot give what you don't have. So unless we generate enough power, we cannot realize that dream. And we have been relying more on important fossil fuels, and we have been having challenges in infrastructure, aged, inadequate petroleum pipeline transportation system, inadequate storage. We've been operating on a hand-to-mouth basis without strategic reserves. We know there have been financing gaps and major challenges on how do we hold strategic reserves in this country for at least 90 days, which requires about 90 billion Kenya shillings, which we are not able to access from public funds. So we are also challenging the private sector to come up with ideas of how they can make money, as well as assist us to solve those infrastructural constraints that we face in the petroleum subsector. The Kenya Pipeline is now doing some engineering designs and trying to raise money so that we can construct a new pipeline from Mombasa to Nairobi. Again, we'll be challenging our banks, the private sector, to come up and see whether they can support this critical project for the country. We are right now, I think on 12th of next month, we are meeting the residents of Kitui because we have identified 2 companies to start mining coal in that area. And obviously, in the line with the new constitution, the key issues arise. How much should go to a local community, how much should go to a county and government, and how much is going to go to the central government. These are issues which have not been resolved. And they are under discussion, both between us and the Minister of Environment. And we like public inputs, into that debate.
We are having a drought, and to ensure that we don't go into massive power rationing, we are conserving the little water that is there for providing power, maximum power during peak periods. And because of that, hydropower generation has been scaled down very sharply to 39%. And 39% out of the total. Then we have geothermal, which is between 14 and 18%. And the balance is oil-based thermal, about 47% minimum. We have what we call capacity constraint. That is, available capacity is less than demand. So we have an imbalance between supply and demand. And by that I mean when we have a machine out of commission, either due to unexpected breakdown or routine maintenance, then we get that tight supply situation. But there will be a major shift from thermal power generation, other than during peak hours, to hydro during off-peak hours, for example, at this time. And that will see a substantial reduction in consumer tariffs. As of this morning, the holding reservoir was about just slightly above 1,047 meters above sea level. It starts filling at 1,056 meters, 1,056.5 meters above sea level. So it will take to be a gradual process. So it's like we'll be reversing the current trend of high power tariffs based on oil costs and moving towards mitigation by pushing more hydro into the system. So if the rains come, for example, early enough, we should be able to see that transformation in the first week of December, major transformation.